I think all of these people are getting confirmed, and we'll talk about that later on as
Mhm.
well. But in terms of the Justice Department, the rule of law, and I do think the Homeland Security piece ties into this, right?
Yeah.
In terms of using the existing laws. I heard a lot of that coming out of Kristi Noem. I watched a little
Mhm.
bit of that today, and she kept talking about how there was never a family separation policy. We're following the laws that were already in place. And it was like a thing she kept coming back to, of following the laws that were there and then pivoting into, saying Joe Biden's trafficking, thousands of children, like some Kremlin garbage.
Oh, so she's just following orders. Okay.
Yeah, it's
Good.
just
Good to know.
following orders.
She's
And
following
also, but
orders.
we are going to hear that of these are the laws that exist, and we are following the laws that exist. We're just exercising them in the way that no one else had the courage or the bravado or the strength to exercise them before. And the problem with that, I think, is that it's it it puts everything back into the camp of outrage, um, around abuse of power. So abuse of power, any reaction to something being an abuse of power is going to be labeled outrage, and it's going to fuel the culture war even more. This is the formula we know, because nobody will call it out as an abuse of power. An abuse of power doesn't mean you're breaking the law. It means not necessarily. It means you're taking the power that was granted to you and you're using it to abuse. You're using it in maybe in corrupt ways, but you can use it in thuggish and authoritarian ways without it being something that, well, certainly the Supreme Court won't come after anybody, but without losing your job in this sort of era that we're going into. And it almost feels like abuse of power and a willingness to abuse power. If you're willing to shoot your puppy, if you're willing to kill a dog, and whatever animals this woman has killed,
Yeah.
I know it's more than just a puppy. And write about it in your book with pride. I can't even wrap my mind around what she's willing to do to human beings that she's been given the full authority and power over to abuse. That there's already all this language of hatred. So I think she's a very dark character
Mhm.
in this whole thing. And that's just a department and an institution, a part of our institution that, thugs have had their eyes on, of wanting to, it's like,
Yeah.
it was in terms of like the FBI and the Department of Justice, and knowing that Donald is, he's a grip in a mafia family, period, full stop. That it's gangsters everywhere. All the people connected to him originally in the first one, from Manafort to Kellyanne Conway to all these people, all have organized crime in their family and their links and their background. Um, and but none as much and as big as Donald's. Those are just pervasive. What Fred was into was outrageous.
Yeah.
So, the first thing those people are going to do, if you give them power within the institutions of justice, is they're going to do what any mobster is going to do. Go watch Goodfellas, everybody. What do you think? Let's give those characters here. You're in charge of the FBI right now. What do you think they're going to do? So it's the abuse of power that is we're going to see, that's going to be shocking and jarring, and I think we're going to have to figure out how to react to it other than outrage. I really do. As outrageous as it is, we're going to have to figure out other responses.